Hello, it's Jonathan Wellham of Rocklinc Investment Partners, and it's June the 14th, 2018. Now, we're going to be covering our last installment of videos looking at our new Rocklinc fund, but also looking at the various sectors that we'd like to invest in across all of our client accounts. And so let's just have a quick review, if you will, in terms of our overall investment approach and philosophy. So let's just get right into this. You see the first slide, there's a disclaimer and our necessary legal disclaimer, so you can look at that at your leisure. And then we have the next slide, just talks a little bit about our investment principles and process in terms of the outline of this presentation, and then the sectors of focus. And today we're going to actually be looking at the water industry, the water sector. So in terms of our investment principles, we've covered this in every single video, and so you know it quite well. We are just basically focused value investors, really looking at a handful of great businesses that we can invest in and compound with over time. On the next slide there, the investment process, how we sort of find those companies and ferret them out, good investment opportunities, and in particular, it's really points 4 and 5 there that we're going to talk about today as it applies to the water industry. Looking for industries with above average growth. We certainly think that's the case for the water industry. And then businesses within that industry that should be able to grow at even faster rates than the overall industry growth, certainly better than the overall economy. On the next two slides, we just highlight again the 8 sectors that we've been talking about over the last number of months as we've gone through the various areas that we'd like to invest the preponderance of your assets. And so you can see in that first slide there with the sectors, infrastructure, financial, technology, manufacturing, and then on the next slide, the precious metals, healthcare, agriculture, which will be talked about last time, along with water, which we're going to zero in on today. Now, when you just focus on that last little square at the bottom, water, you can see that we make a couple of points that are very important. It's the world's most precious and mispriced resource. For us in Canada, we've got water all over the place. I mean, we live in Ontario, land of the lakes, that's what it means. And so we've got lots of water, but in the majority of places around the world where people are congregating and living, they have a real issue with fresh, clean, potable water. And so we also talk about the shortage of water and also the basic infrastructure, getting the water from the ground and then into the people's homes and into commercial places and into various beverages and so forth. That's a real process, and there are business opportunities all along those different paths. And so on the next slide there, we zero in a little bit more detail just on the water industry. So we would break the water industry into water infrastructure, the pipes, the valves, all of the basic equipment that's necessary to move the water around. Then you've got water treatment, once you actually have the water, making sure it's clean and it's drinkable and usable in the various forms that will be necessary in terms of application. And then you've got water efficiency. In other words, trying to use as little water as possible for your various needs. And so things like everything from making sure toilets are efficient to making sure that you're recycling water with different commercial practices and so forth. These are all ways to drive water efficiency. And so water infrastructure, treatment, and then water efficiency or effectiveness and use of water. On the next slide, we just have a few logos. And in our current fund, our Rocklinc fund, we have investments in Ecolab and also Pentair. But in some of your accounts, you'll also see companies like American Water, and American Water Works is the full name, and also Xylem. So I just want to make a couple of comments about each one of these businesses, just so you have a better handle on them, particularly if you're looking at your own portfolios. You're going, what is this business? What does it do? So in terms of the next slide, we do have one detailed slide on Ecolab. And this is a great business. We've actually owned it during the whole time that we've been operating Rocklinc. And in fact, I owned it even in my predecessor company, AIC, and we owned it in the form of Nelco, which was actually bought out by Ecolab. So if you look at this slide here in terms of Ecolab, you can see it's a global provider of water, hygiene, energy technology to large multinational corporations. So it really helps big companies, commercial operations, deal with water effectively and efficiently. For example, one area that is very large in is the whole energy industry. And the energy industry, extracting oil and gas, uses a lot of water. And so Ecolab's come up with some really wonderful technologies to minimize that use and to recycle water and so forth. You can see here that large products and services also for treating water, sanitizing solutions, processing chemicals, antimicrobial solutions, animal health products, energy conservation, and so on. It is a really well-run company, high returns on invested capital, and a global leader. This is a business that operates all around the world and in virtually all the major industries around the world. So Ecolab, we've again had this investment for quite some time, and it has continued to grow and expand at a much faster rate than the overall GDP or the overall growth in the economy. Now, significant, on the next slide, I just list very quickly significant water investments in Pentair, Xylem, and American Water. So Pentair, what's their uniqueness? They're really a little bit more retail focus. And so you can see their designs, manufacturers of water purification, filtration. If you have a pool, you probably use one of their filters. They're very much control and pumping products. And they're really focused on becoming the leading residential, commercial, and water treatment company in developed markets. So their firm belief is that individuals in their residences, in their homes, especially out in the country, will more and more have water systems, and they'll be able to, meet those needs. And so Pentair is a real leader in residential water treatment. And again, they're continuing to build that business all around the world. Big opportunities from their perspective in countries like India and also China as they expand in the emerging markets. Xylem is really heavy-duty infrastructure. And so you can see here provides products and services that move, treat, analyze, monitor, and return water to the environment in public, utility, and industrial, residential, and commercial building service settings. What does that mean? Big pipes, big valves. This is the company that if you're building out an infrastructure or system, if you're a company or a municipality, you're going to be phoning Xylem and you're going to be ordering a lot of their heavy products and equipment, materials, in order to get the water moved around to the place where you need to get it to go. Now, Xylem's also getting involved in a lot of technology and monitoring systems and using software to become even more and more efficient. So not only is it building the systems with pipes and valves, but it's also now trying to integrate a lot of technology within the pipes and valves also. So that's a great fee-based reoccurring revenue stream. So Xylem's a bit more, really true infrastructure versus Pentair, which is more retail, residential purification. And then you've got American Water, which is a utility. So this is the company that would ultimately deliver the water right to your house. So this is one of the largest publicly traded water utilities in the United States, and has a small presence in Ontario. But you can see on the slide there that it has about 6,900 professionals and over 15 million homes or people that it would service in the Northeast and down into the Southeast part of the United States. And it continues to grow, continues to buy up different water utility systems, and continues to grow that way, as well as being in markets where there's increasing population and more homes are being built where it can hook into those homes and provide the water systems. So there's a quick overview on the water industry. It is essential. The long-term growth is very high. There's going to be an increasing price put on water because to a large degree, it's been kind of free in many places around the world, but it's actually a much more expensive commodity, and it's an essential commodity. And so we've tried to cover ourselves off by looking at companies like Ecolab, which help companies efficiently use water, cleaning and sanitizing, water utilities like American Water, Pentair in the residential use of water, and then Xylem, which is really the big pipes and valves and the heavy infrastructure. So we cut across the whole spectrum, depending on your portfolios and the various opportunities in terms of the valuation of the businesses that we're looking at. So there's a quick overview in water. That's our last installment in terms of looking at the various sectors that we're investing in. And so in the next update, we'll give you a little bit more update in terms of the market and what's going on in the world. Lots of news, and we're trying to, again, stay focused on the businesses and what's actually happening in the companies, which is really where the value is created, not on focusing on all the politics and geopolitics and all the noise that's out there, which often can get us sidetracked from the real task at hand, and that is buying great companies that are growing, expanding their earnings, and should make more money next year, year after that, and that will ultimately drive the capital value of the business. So, thank you very much for listening. If you have any questions, please email, call, stop by the office, and I trust that you're looking forward to a wonderful summer season. Thank you very much. Bye now.